Hey guys, what's going on? Today I'm going to be doing a how-to video on sighting in a 1-pin sight, and for reference this is an Excel AccuTouch Carbon Pro. So the things that you're really going to need for this is obviously a rangefinder. You want to know your distances are exactly where they need to be, and then a set of Allen wrenches. That will be important for changing your left and right. To get started, so the first thing you want to do is you want to have a blank sight tape on there to start with, and I usually carry a pen or a pencil with me depending on what kind of tape I have on here. And basically the reason for that is some materials on these tapes, you know, a pencil won't mark on there. But the first thing you want to do is you want to go to 20 yards. I like to go on a big range target, that way, you know, if it's way off, you know, up or down, I'm not missing a target completely. Set your, you know, I have a pretty good gauge for where my bow is at, as far as where that 20-yard mark should be. And down on the target I actually have about a 1-inch tall tape that's running left to right, and the objective of that is to shoot my arrows at it and then see where I'm at above or below that line. And so first thing, I'm going to find that 20-yard line, and that's what I'm going to do now. So as you can see here, I am dead center. Like I said, I had a pretty good idea of reference where I needed to be. So my 20 is where I need to be. So I'm going to go back up here, and where this sight is marked, where my needle is, my indicator there, I'm going to make a mark there for now. That's my 20-yard mark, and then I'm going to ideally get to where I know where my 60 is, because your 20 to your 60 gap is how you're going to determine what sight tape you need. So let's go do that. So my left and right was actually perfect on that, because like I said, this is pretty similar to my last setup. But if you do need to adjust left and right, at 20 yards is where the first place I would do it. Is you take your Allen wrenches and you would loosen that Allen screw on there and move your scope housing left or right according to where you need to be. If you're shooting left, you need to move it left, so you follow the arrow left and right. All right, so we're at 40 yards now. I'm trying to just get close. The ideal goal is to find my 60-yard mark. So I'm just going to get close here. I'm moving my sight down as I move out to distance. So let's see where I'm at 40. High is okay. So my guess spot at 40, I was actually a little low, so I'm going to keep moving my sight down, get close, and then we'll hop out to 60. So as you can see, my first shot was low, and I only have this target set up to where I'm looking at the up and down. I'm not really concerned with the left and right yet. First shot was about 4 or 5 inches low, so I moved my sight down a little bit more, and the second shot was right where it needs to be. So let's jump to 60 now. All right, so now I'm at 60 yards. I got a pretty good spot at 40, and I'm going to crank my sight down again, and we're going to send a couple down range and find out where that 60 mark is, and then we'll finish this out. So my first shot at 60 was well low, probably, I don't know, a foot. So my guess was wrong, which is fine. I'm just going to crank my sight down again, and we're going to send another one, see where it's at. Still low. Gonna give it a little bit more. So we had the first shot was quite a bit low, moved the sight up, was still low, then I moved it a little too far the third time, so now I'm going to crank it back up a little bit, and we're just going to close that gap and find where that spot is. So another thing you might notice, if you can hear or see in the background, it's a little breezy today, so I'm making sure to shoot between gusts, because that absolutely can change your sight in. Unfortunately, the timeline is just tight right now. Bow season's already underway, and I had to make a change in the setup. So that's why I'm sighting in October and not in July. All right, so I just fired those last 2 shots at 60, and I think the second one is right on where it needs to be. So let's go take a look, and then I'm gonna put up a dot so I can start dialing in my left and right. So first one was just a touch low. I really fine-tuned it in, and now we're right where we need to be. So I'm gonna put this dot up, and I'm gonna shoot probably only one at a time at this dot for left and right, because, well, I just know how this bow's been shooting, and we'll probably end up busting some knocks. So if you don't want to spend extra money on arrows, do not shoot at the same dot. Just, that's a pro tip. So as I thought, you know, with the other shots, I knew that I was right, but I was focused on the up and down. I'm about 2 to 3 inches right at 60 right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and move this sight over with the micro adjust because I'm already at distance. If I was at 20 and I was off by that much, I would go ahead and use that front post adjustment, but I'm just gonna go ahead and use the micro adjust clicks, and I'm gonna move the sight over to the arrow, and then I'm gonna dial it in. So I said I was only going to shoot one, but I was feeling a little risky. First shot was right. I moved it over a little bit, wasn't enough. Moved it over a little bit more, now we're getting closer, but I think we can do just a little bit better, so let's see what we can do. So last shot at 60 is right where it needs to be. So it's time to find a sight tape, if I've got any, that will fit to my 20 and 60 yard marks, and then we're ready to hunt. All right, so I've got my 60 yard mark where it needs to be. The last step as far as my sight tape really goes is getting that mark where my indicator is. So I left my sight set exactly where it was when I shot that last shot at 60. And now I'm gonna get into my box from my sight manufacturer here, and I'm gonna find a sight tape that lines up with my 20 yard and my 60 yard line, and then I'm going to shoot that in and make sure that that's where it needs to be. All right, so I went and put a new dot up. The wind took my my dot hostage down there, but I'm gonna take a shot and see if my sight tape is accurate at 60, and then I'll shoot it once at 20, and then we'll be done. All right, so we shot our new sight tape at 20 and 60, and it's right where it needs to be. So we are ready to hit the woods. Thanks for watching. And comment down there in the comment section what your favorite bow sight is.